All right. So we're top of the hour. We'll go ahead and get started. Folks will trickle in throughout the hour, as I'm sure they will always do. But in the meantime, I want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for your interest in joining potentially the TCT volunteer program. I'm seeing some familiar faces who have engaged with us in the past, some new faces. So we're just really excited to welcome you all today and to talk a little bit about our plans for the summer and hopefully get you excited about getting involved and to answer any of the questions that you might have. So, just by short way of introduction, my name is Megan Neal. I'm the executive director of the Transcaucasian Trail Association, and I've been involved in this project since 2018 when, fun fact, I actually came out as an international volunteer to this very program to help build the trail in Zeschlo, Georgia, where we are returning this year. I fell in love with the project and have been involved ever since, haven't looked back. And it's been a really amazing way as the volunteer program has grown to see the different people from all kinds of walks of lives, different backgrounds, bringing them together to build something really cool and special here in the Caucasus. So today I have with me my amazing team members based in Georgia and Armenia who are going to be sharing a little bit about the specifics of the program. We will leave plenty of time for Q&A, and we can also pepper some of that in throughout the session. In terms of logistics, please make sure everyone to just keep yourselves on mute so that we can ensure a nice, smooth webinar. It's 2026. We don't need to hear any of that background noise anymore. And you'll see a Q&A button, I believe, that should be located on the main menu. So if you see that, please, as the session is going along, write your questions in the Q&A box rather than the broader meeting chat. This makes it easier for us to keep track of questions throughout the session. And then at the end, we can go through and systematically make sure that we're getting to the questions that everyone asks. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to drop those in the chat. Second, just, in terms of getting a sense of who's here and like what folks might be interested in, please do introduce yourself in the chat. We'd love to hear where you're joining from, if you have any connection to the Caucasus or to the trail already, and just let's get a sense of who's here. And yeah, we're excited to meet you. And before we dive in to the specifics of the different programs that we're going to be running this year, I wanted to just set the stage a little bit and give you all a sense of what are we actually doing when we talk about volunteering on the TCT and this whole project. So just a little background on the TCT in general, in case you're new and not, possibly not even sure how you ended up here, although that would be a mystery. This is the in progress Transcaucasian Trail. This is a long distance hiking trail network that we have been working on developing over the last 10 years, believe it or not, working on two interconnecting routes stretching across the Lesser and Greater Caucasus Mountains, connecting three different countries of Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So as you can see, this is a really broad trail network that brings together a lot of different types of routes, everything from historical shepherding paths to the paths that people used to use to walk between village to village, to get their sheep up to the pastures. Oftentimes the different trails and routes that would connect key monasteries and historical sites to the different villages around the region, and lots of the Soviet jeep tracks that were built during the Soviet period, and linking all of these together to create some really incredible hiking opportunities through what is one of the world's most biologically and culturally diverse landscapes. We also are working to just in general try to raise the level of hiking infrastructure in the country to make it safer, more accessible, easier, and more enjoyable for everyone to join, whether they're traveling from around the world or just right next door. So to do that, we do a lot of trail maintenance. You'll hear a little bit more about the different types of work when we get to the different projects, but that could be anything from clearing back overgrown branches to digging some drainage so water can flow off of the trail, sometimes even building new bridges, and really working to make sure that the route itself can last and can support hiker traffic. And in places where it's really needed, we're working on building some brand new connections. And you'll hear more about that, particularly from, well, I guess both teams actually, because we've got some new trail construction projects happening in both countries this year, which is very exciting. That's a much more time-intensive, labor-intensive process, an amazing way to get a sense of what actually goes into trail developments. And this is just a little snapshot of where the trail is at right now. So you can see that there's a lot open in terms of hiking opportunities already. these trail conditions are still fairly mixed across the region, and we're working to raise that standard overall. And there's still a fair amount of the route that needs to be developed still. So, but we've got some exciting developments on that coming this way over the next year or two. We're hard at work stitching up those remaining gaps, and we hope to have more available soon. And just really quickly to get into it a little bit before we talk about the specific projects, I wanted to give you guys just a brief sense of what goes into all of that, because there's a lot of different stages of trail development. And as volunteers, you're coming into one of the most critical sections, which is the actual trail building. But I think it's helpful to understand where you fit in this process. So first, there's lots of mapping, there's lots of the computer work, back data, going through old maps, figuring out the different possibilities. We spent a lot of time in the field kind of figuring out which connection is going to be the most viable before we'll actually go in and do the physical work to improve that section. We do have a lot of work with communities along the routes to talk about, tourism in their areas, the old paths, what they were used for, really trying to bring people into this network and engage with it, working on supporting sustainable tourism around the region, using the trail as a way to promote businesses, basically help put some of these rural regions on the map, and trying to use tourism as a way to actually support some of these communities, many of which are facing, just increasing challenges and a lot of outmigration. So tourism can, if it's done well, bring a lot of new opportunities. And we've seen that really unfolding over the last 10 years in some of these regions. And then, of course, there's the actual trail building. That's Gio there. You'll hear from him in a little bit. And this is where you guys are going to come in. This is the part that makes everything else possible when it comes to creating the type of impact that we've been seeing the TCT have, and that we want to continue to help it have and flourish and support these communities and ecosystems over the long term. That's a double. We also use our trail building camps as a way to promote environmental education across the region. We do a lot of work with local youth around the region, trying to make our camps really a great opportunity for cultural exchange when they happen. So as part of our volunteer programs, we try to make sure that every camp has a mix between international and local participants so that we can facilitate some of this cultural exchange, both within the region and also bringing more people to the Caucasus and giving people from the Caucasus more opportunities to engage with folks from around the world, practice their English, learn some new skills, and support their own professional developments in the outdoor industry. So that's all I've got. With that, I just wanted to say thank you again for being here. We've had so many volunteers join us throughout the years, and it really is one of the most amazing things seeing all of these people come together to really build something cool, support the region. And we hope that, just like many of us have, if you come to join us this summer, you will walk away with a connection to the region that lasts for the rest of your life, because it is not a place that you leave easily. And it will make its mark on you, just as you can come help use your little pickaxe and make your mark on it. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mary. She's going to share some details about the Armenia program. We'll go through the different logistics of that. And then my colleagues, Rima and Georgi, will share details about the program in Georgia this year. So thank you all for being here.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear my voice? Yeah? Okay, good. Hi again. My name is Mary, and I'm representing TCT Armenia and TCT's partner organization in Armenia, Trails for Change. Really thankful for everyone for joining today's meeting, and I really hope that after the presentations, we will have some of you, if not all of you, join us in the Caucasus, either in Armenia or Georgia. Before coming to this year's programs, I would like to briefly introduce how the project started in Armenia. So the first international volunteer camp happened in 2017, and the professional trail builder, Hans Käfer, joined as a trainer, and Hans had Armenian roots. So when he came to Armenia, he kind of fell in love with it and decided to create his own organization, which is Trails for Change, that takes care of the Transcaucasian Trail in Armenia. And also, one more milestone and great thing about the 2017 project was that many of the volunteers joined different organizations in the field. So it kind of it wasn't just a project, but it was also a beginning of a movement in Armenia. And after that, we didn't run the project in Armenia for 8 years, and the revival of the project happened in 2025. We had two hitches in Armenia. The first one was in Tavush region, and with the help of 7 internationals and 7 locals, we maintained 2 kilometers of the trails stretching from Gosh to Khachardzan. And the second hitch was in Lori region in Stepanavan area, and we had 4 international volunteers, so 11 internationals and 9 locals in total. These are the dates in Armenia, but we will come back to this later. As you can see, we have like 6 groups. Initially, we planned 5, but later we added the Tavush hitch. And as the dates is kind of between the group 1 and group 2, we decided to name it group 1B. That's why the numbering is a little no, it's not correct. So we will have camps in 4 different regions of Armenia, and last year we had 7-day hitches, but the volunteers, some of the volunteers said that it was quite short and they would like a longer experience, but some of them were fine with the duration, so we decided to keep both 7 days and 12 days. This is the schedule at a glance for the 7-day projects. So if you can see, the first day is for arrival, orientation, and cultural day. We will be introducing to Armenia, to TCT, TFC. There will be safety briefings, and we will do some Armenian masterclasses, getting to know Armenia's culture. And when designing the program, we really wanted to have a good mix of both trail work and culture, because this project is a way for us, for Armenians, to showcase our culture, our rich history. And starting from day 2, the real adventure begins. We go to the camp. The camp installation happens. We introduce volunteers to trail building tools, and if the time allows, we also do some trail building and trail maintenance. And starting from day 3, we have work days. We start working at 8 and finish work at 4 or 5. And the last day is like half day work. Then we do cleanup, they install the camp, and return to the guest house for celebration and project wrap up. The schedule for the 12-day project is similar, but it's a little bit longer. The work days are longer, and there is a mid-program hike planned to explore the nearby attractions. It will be a much-needed rest day for the volunteers, because trail building is not an easy job. So just wanted to introduce you to different stages of the project with pictures. This is the first day when we do all the introductions, the safety briefings in early afternoon, and in late afternoon we already dive into the city tour, Armenian dance masterclasses, traditional dish cooking. We have a very big welcome dinner, just like Armenians do almost every day. And we also stay at a local guest house or a hostel. And the next day, we already arrive in the campsite. We set up the tents, the shared spaces, organize the kitchen and tools. And in late afternoon, as I already mentioned, we either have rest or we introduce to trail tools and do some trail building. Starting from day 3, trail building starts, and don't worry if you've never done trail building, because we have experienced crew leaders in the field who will be teaching you tool use and all about safety, then sustainable construction methods, and then practical trail building and maintenance will happen in the field. Other than the trail work, we also have duties at the camp. As you can see in the first picture, we have the menu and the camp duties. So basically, the camp duties include cleaning, cooking, bringing water, and other tasks that will be asked you to do by the camp manager. This is to keep the camp clean, everything organized, and also doing these duties is really fun, and it's a way to really bond with the other volunteers. And also, after the trail work hours, we do cultural exchange and really fun activities. As you can see in the photos, we play different games, sing, dance. There's always a bonfire. And the project wrap up after the trail work. On the last day, we come back to the town to relax. We have more food, more dancing, and we wrap up the project. This was really fun because we didn't expect this. This wasn't fun in the project, but after the project, some of the volunteers stayed for a couple of more weeks, and we celebrated. But we had many gatherings with them. This is just to mention how we were successful with building the community. Like in the first four pictures, we took some of our volunteers to Gov village in the Tavush region to celebrate Vartavar. It's an Armenian festival when people pour water at each other. This was really fun and also a way for them to get to know to dive deeper into Armenia's culture. And also, there's another tradition in Armenia. Every last Friday of each month, we gather at one of the landmarks of Yerevan, Cascade, to dance traditional dances. So they were part of it. And these are the gatherings after the project in Armenia and outside of Armenia. So they just keep in touch with each other. They the WhatsApp chat never uh, stops like buzzing. So yeah, we managed to create a great community. Now I would like to introduce the groups in 2026. So we will start in June. The first hitch is from June 14 to 25. It will last 12 days. It will be in the Lori region. The trail section is here, Sanahin to Mirzakar section. It will focus on trail construction and maintenance. This is one of the wildest and most remote sections of the trail, and the expected trail work is going to be moderate to hard. And here, as you can see, the base camp is Dilijan, so we will meet here. We will leave for work in the Star area, and then after the project, we will come back to wrap up the project in Dilijan. The Group 1B project, it will be in the Tavush region for 7 days. The worksite will be either Bars Lake to Gosh Lake or Hidden Waterfall. Trail assessment is happening right now. We will decide on the final worksite location in the coming month. But both of these sections that I already mentioned are one of the most popular hiking trails in Armenia. So trail maintenance in these areas is crucial because many tourists visit Dilijan National Park and these specific trails. The next group will be in the Gerarkunik region, and it will last from July 19 to 25, again 7 days. This is Mount Ajdahak is one of the highest mountains in Armenia, and we are developing a brand new trail which will connect the base camp to the summit. Last year, our crew built half of the trail, but this year we are going to the same location to maintain the trail that has already been built and construct the rest of it, and also do the signposting to have the trail finished. You should expect high altitude trail work, cold nights, and limited water, and the difficulty level is hard. This will be the hardest camp we'll have this year. Then we will move to the Sunik region for 12 days to Vorotan Canyon. The landscape here is very dramatic. And also Sunik region is one of the most culturally deep regions of Armenia. So there will be lots of legends, lots of things to see during the mid hike. So very recommended. I'm also from the Sunik region, so would love to run the camp in my region. Here it will be trail construction, marking, and lopping. Group 4 will be in the Lori region from September 13 to 19, and it will be in the Debet Gorge. with iconic green gorges of Lori. Also another great location. And group 5 will be in the Sunik region, Arvik National Park. And this is also a milestone moment for us because this is the final stretch of the TCT in Armenia. So again, amazing nature, amazing landscapes. So if you are free during this period of the year, you're welcome to come to Armenia to experience this. The costs for the base program are for the 7-day program is $700 and for the 12-day program is $1,000. We also have optional services. You can rent camping equipment here. If you want to travel light, it's $50 for the whole set. And then we also offer extended volunteering, which means if you want to continue building trails in Armenia, you can join the local Armenian crew who is on the trails, out on the trails year round, and continue trail building for an additional 5 days. And so the price includes 2 nights accommodation, transportation between base camp and the camp work site, all meals, a TCT t-shirt, use of the tools and safety equipment in the field, on-site training, and TFC base camp support. This is it from Armenia's side. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Mary, for the overview. Yes, please feel free to drop questions. We've got a couple about just general things, so I think we'll discuss those after we go through Georgia as well, because it's all relevant. But yeah, so many exciting projects happening this year. Just can't wait to see how much progress we all make.
Yeah. And I see Bjorn here. Hi, Bjorn. He's one of our volunteers from 2025. So, Bjorn, if you would like to say a couple of words about your experience, the floor
Yes, of
is
course.
yours.
Thanks, Mary. I'm not at all prepared, but it's fantastic to see how many projects you've got going this year, and I know some of the regions quite well. So I also like if you guys have any questions for me as someone who has been a volunteer in this region, please don't hesitate to ask me. From my side, I can only say that the experience was really fantastic. And as Mary said, like the chat, like the group chat we had was going on in months after the volunteer camp, and they really made us feel so really at ease. Like from the beginning to the end, we had a fantastic time, and I think we had a great group too. And everyone was being friendly with each other, being kind and supportive, and still we managed to do quite a lot of work. So I think you shouldn't expect to as a volunteer, obviously, you shouldn't expect to be able to do as much as a professional crew, trail building crew, because everyone is just learning things. But still, we had some very motivated people who were very active, and I think we managed to do more than the organizers expected of us. So that's definitely something we can be proud of. And yeah, and still we had enough time in the evenings too to relax and to have some good nights at the campfire. Even though the first night we were like having to quickly secure camp because it started pouring it down. The rest of the week it was really cool, and yeah, it got better from day to day. And I think everyone was a bit sad that it had to end so soon. So I was also among the people who wanted to take to be a bit longer. So I'm glad to see that this has been thought about too, because obviously, like for some 7 days, it's already enough, but others might be motivated to do a bit more. So yeah, if you have any more precise questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be here for the rest of the meeting.
Thanks, Bjorn. And I also see Mariam, who is a local volunteer that joined the International Volunteer Program. Mariam Jan.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you all here. I want to say that I participated in 2025 IVP program at second group, and during that program I participated to maintaining Gosh Khachardzan trail. and it was truly amazing opportunity for me because I spent a good time. I starting do something that I don't know about that before, and it was great experience for me because I before that I hiking a lot and hiking a lot, and I don't see how we build trails, how we going for hikes that trails, and I see whole that process behind the skins and know how to build trails and do that work like that. And I know some good people with good mindset, because as nature lover, to see people who also care about nature and do some things for nature, it's really amazing.
Absolutely, Mariam.
Yeah, and
Thank you
if
so
you,
much for joining. It's so great to hear.
yeah. And if you have any question, you can ask. Don't hesitate.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you both so much for sharing your perspectives. So happy to see you here and to keep on coming back and being part of TCT. So thank you. Mary, before we move on to Georgia, we got one quick Armenia specific question about when you say the Mount Ajdahat camp is cold, what sort of temperatures would you expect?
Oh, I we included that in the website. Let me check real quick.
I guess just from personal experience, up there it's good to plan for nights down to basically freezing. It can get quite cold at night, but the days tend to be quite warm. Your high altitude, if it's sunny, the sun's quite strong, and yeah, but the nights get really chilly. So if you're packing gear, like planning for basically temperatures around, close to freezing.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. All right, Georgia team, take it away.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a really pleasure to see so many motivated and interesting people in our programs joining us today. I'm Rima, and I'm the International uh, Programs Manager at TCTA. And today, together with my colleague Georgi, I'll try my best to present our program in Georgia. I will talk more about the procedures, and then my colleague Georgi, he will talk more about the technical part of the program agenda and details about beautiful ZESCO that IVP will take place in Georgia. Um, Yes. Uh, I cannot. Yeah. Well, okay. So in Georgia, we have three groups. Open call for three groups. The first group will start August 7, and then the August 14 and August 21. Each group will last for 9 days, and it will be in the Lower Swaneti in Georgia, which is a very remote area in Caucasus Mountains, but it's breathtaking, beautiful, and also kind of wild because still the nature is very untouched. And if you want to spend your summer somewhere with a purpose, I think this is the great place to be. Um, as you can see, um, the place down there in the pictures, there are tents. This is mostly where our place will be in Zesco. And now my colleague Georgi will talk more about the agenda days and why it is what is the benefits of being IVP volunteer in Georgia. Georgi?
Hello, everyone. Yes,
Yeah.
can you hear from me? Yes. Thank you, Rima, and hello to everyone. I am Georgi, and I'm working for TCT from 2019, and I'm really happy to work one more summer. And thank you, everyone who is already, you all are interested about volunteering in Georgia or in Armenia and volunteering with TCT and help us to keep these beautiful projects going on. So I will talk now about weekly schedule overview of our project. The aerial day is normally the first day when we meet everyone in guest house in Kutaisi. The Kutaisi is located in central region of the Georgia, and it's west part of the Georgia. And then in that day, we have the introduction orientation. Then mainly focus are for the safety meeting and the general overview of the explanation, how we are working and what we are looking for in this week. What I'm talking a little bit now, but in this day will be more detailed and what to expect more. And last day to catch things you are missing. For example, I don't know, water bottles or some other details. From second day, we travel from Kutaisi to work site. And then second day normally is traveling and then set up the camp. My internet says it was unstable, but everyone was hearing what I was saying?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, from second day, yeah, we set up camp. And then from third day, including with the 7th day, it's normally our work time in the camp. And 8th day is when, sorry, not 9 days is when we come back, and then mostly the people are staying in the guest house again back in Kutaisi. And it's also celebration of our week success in the camps and then on our field work. Can we move to the next slide? Thank you, Rima. Yeah, trail work on a work site. Normally, we are working. We already have prepared the exact location where we are working. Normally, we have set up the flag the trail where trail should goes, and then our work is normally the constructing the trail. From lower Swaneti to the Raja region. This is 2 regions. We are currently working. We are planning this summer to connect these 2 regions to each other. It was connected many years ago, but after some time, not so many people were using that, or so some landslides happened. So we rewrote it and replanned the section, and then we now are connecting this section. What actual work on the field is more mix of the vegetation cleaning, and also after the vegetation cleaning, it's also digging the soil and cleaning everything. So we trying to make the working path like you seeing one of the picture with the beautiful flags. So we're kind of flagging the trail like this, and then this is the final corridor of our work. And also we doing some of the fixing of the old trails to in exact location, because after you build some of the sections after 1 year, normally it needs a little bit of fixing there. Also there in that area where we will work, it's a remote area, and we will be close to the really huge mountains, like 9,000 feet tall, or 3,000 meter, or a little bit more mountains. And we will feel the local area and local place there. I think and then we also really happy to show how our previous years of the works are affecting the local communities there, and then our friendship with the locals who is currently are there, getting happy and getting benefits from our work. Can we move to the next slide?
Yes, the application process, application is already open. You can find the details on our website. The cost for Georgian IVP program is reduced for this year, and we offer it for $800. We try our best due to current ongoing situation to have as low budget as possible to offer the whole program and unforgettable memory. The deadline to apply for Georgian programs is July 1st, but we recommend to apply as soon as possible and secure your spot, because once the group is filled out, we will close the calls for the groups. But yes, we recommend to apply as soon as possible, and don't miss your chance. Yes, you also see the application form. The form is very simple, but we ask so many questions. Very simple questions. Don't be afraid. It's just also for our reference. So once you are coming, we have guaranteed that your stay will be very comfortable, and we will meet all your requests and needs to accommodate you. Yes, and I really look forward to meet you all, maybe, if not some of you, maybe all of you in Georgia, and have Swan to share Swan hospitality with you. Swaneti is the region that we will be working to share culture, traditions that Georgia has, and the Caucasus mountain is the, once you visit Caucasus, you always want to come back and revisit. So I hope you will have amazing time here in Georgia, and like the bonus is like hiking and excursion as you get during your stay, and behind the work part of the trail building. So yes, we thank you for your attention, and we are ready to answer any questions that you have. Meanwhile, I see here Andrew, who was our last year. He volunteered in Georgia for all groups, and I hope you are. Yes, I know you are traveling, but hope you can share
Yes,
your
I'm
thoughts.
here. How are you doing?
Hello,
Can you hear me?
Andrew. Nice to see you. Happy to see you.
Right. Um, I just wanted to kind of come on and say I was a TCT volunteer all the way up to 2025. I keep going back to Zesco in Georgia because it's very rewarding for me. There's like amazing nature. As a hiker. So it's really amazing to be out in this massive landscape. And then in camp, there's just a lot of peace and quiet and time for reflection. And the stars are amazing. The stars that sit above the campfire that we have there. So it's a good time for me to get away from my daily life and just have a think and reflect. And then the volunteer work is very rewarding. You can see me in that photo there digging a cross drain, for example. You can see the trail that we're building is to a very high standard, and it's a pleasure to hike on it as well. So if you have questions about the Georgia side, shoot them to me.
Thank you so much, Andrew. It's so great to have you here. And he has built a lot of this very trail that you see. I just wanted to pull this photo back up to show you the actual trail that the Georgian volunteers will be working on this year. This is approaching a pretty high and significant pass that's helping facilitate this connection between these two regions. And he's not the only one that's brought back, but definitely the most hours.
Yeah, but what's amazing now is like where the TCT is working in Georgia now, the views really, really open up, and it's a really beautiful place to work, to go up and work every day. It's such a pleasure.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you to the Georgia team for sharing a bit more details about the program.
Thank you.
Yeah. I did want to just say, add a quick note about the volunteer fees. My colleagues Rima and Mary have talked about that a little bit. I know many volunteers might be wondering, how on earth is it so expensive to go build trails in the Caucasus for a week? I just want to share, from the kind of back ends of running these types of programs and working with volunteers over the years, that we actually do a lot of work every year to try to cost out the cost of the program and make sure that we are just hitting the right point where we can afford to run the program. And that involves a lot of logistics on the back end, food for everyone, which has gotten much more expensive in the Caucasus over the recent years following 2022, all of the training and safety equipment and the education that goes into making sure crew leaders have the tools and education they need in order to safely lead groups in the mountains, the lodging, fairly compensating everyone who's involved leading crews. And if any funds are left over, that goes directly to sponsor spots for local volunteers to facilitate a better cultural experience for everyone. So we really appreciate, you guys trusting us with that. I know it can feel like a bit of a jump. If you have any questions about it, we're always here to answer questions. So please don't be shy about reaching out and just asking more. We're so grateful for all the time and efforts that volunteers have put into the trail so far. There is no way we would have made this much progress without the hundreds of hands that have put their time and sweat and effort into it. So thank you. And we can't wait to see you this summer. Okay, we've got a couple questions to get through. I will start out with, we'll go from the top. Had a little bit about timelines. I think that's been covered. Maybe Gio, would you be up for talking a little bit more about the safety measures that are taken out there in remote settings like Zesco, since some of these sites are a bit more far-flung?
Definitely, I can tell and talk more about the safety. First of all, we always have the safety meeting in Kutaisi, so then we all are in set in the same understanding what we are working, how we are working, and taking responsible from me through the crew leaders. And then the crew leaders are experienced crew leaders who were past our scholarship, Conservation Corps, and also they have the experience and the knowledge of the wilderness first responder. And then in that rural area, it's also with the crew leaders, we always priority the safety. And then there is also area where we call the no self-service area, but we have the safety messenger, which is the all the messages are come to our location. And also there is the border guard section nearby where we have a really good relationship with them, and then if we need some help, we can get that help. And also we always have the safety tools with us, and then first aid kit equipped leader always on the field. Yeah, and I think that the safety is a high priority. If any kind of a risk of any injury, then we stop the work, and then priority safety, and then after the safety is like we can work. We have fun and then work. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gio. Mary, if there's anything you'd like to add to that, please feel free as well.
No, I think you covered most of it. Just for Armenia, not like there we have some campsites that are closer to towns. So and also we have cars at the campsite for evacuation and everything. So also whatever Gio already covered.
Perfect. Okay, next question. And this one is for both of you for the respective programs. What level of hiking skill do we need to join?
You go, Mary, or
Yeah, go, Gio. I'm trying to I'm trying to understand for which section what I should say for each section.
yeah, it's like typically we always try to go as close as possible with the cars. Normally in Georgia, and normally there is like the off-road jeep road to drive from the paved road, and then we drive our car to the. But sometimes when it's a rainy day, it takes time for the workers who have to clean the road to the village. Then we have to hike. So it can be, for example, I don't know, 12K hike with the backpack, personal belongings. So that's why normally we say that you have to be able to hike 15Ks, 12, 15Ks if needed, because if we 100% say that like, oh no, we always drive to the camp, and then we have sometimes the cases when it's like poor rain have happened previous day, and then the roads get blocked, so we have to hike. It's not the other option. So,
And Gio, you're talking
I
about
hope
like hiking stuff into the camp, right?
Yes, from and then every day we have to hike 1 hour and a half, approximately 1 hour or 1 hour and a half from the campsite to the work site. But this is already perfect built trail, so it's nice to hike the trails. And then also we have some they hike to the ridge where we see the whole section where we are working towards. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. I would, in general, if anyone's concerned about their hiking ability, I would just add that in some ways, volunteering for trail work it's different than backpacking. So if you're thinking about like the level of physicality required to, execute a week-long backpacking trip, carrying all of your stuff, constantly setting up and taking down camp. It's not that. In a lot of ways, it is actually easier because basically you get in, you set up camp once. There's a lot of work that goes into creating a really comfortable, fun camp to spend the week at. But then when you're walking to and from the work site, you're taking just what you need for that day. So water, snacks, rain layer, that's basically it. Oftentimes you'll take the tools up at the start of the week and then stash them there at the work site throughout and then take them down at the end. So in many ways, it's a little bit more of like going for a day hike every day, to work and then back down. And in terms of the physicality of the work, that can vary a lot depending on the specific project. So that's a great thing to look at. The websites, for example, with all of the different project descriptions like Mary was mentioning, but also do know that we've had people join with a really wide range of physical abilities. It is demanding, but there's also so many different types of tasks that need to be done when it comes to the trail work that often it's pretty easy to switch in and out. So for example, if you're doing the heavy benching work like you can see in this photo, and that can be pretty tough on your back, different parts of your body, you can switch and do a little bit of like, okay, now you're trimming back branches and you're still working, you're making a big contribution, but like it's these little muscles instead of the big heavy lifting. So the most important things, and this is something the crew leaders will educate you in, is proper form and not overworking. We want to make sure that this is a safe, fun, healthy experience for everyone. The last thing we want is someone getting injured for an overuse injury. So when you need to take breaks, you take breaks. And we also have regularly scheduled breaks throughout the workday just to make sure no one's overstretching it too much. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions about your specific situation, again, please feel free to reach out and we can talk it through with you. Yeah. Mary, did you want to add anything about Armenia specifically there?
Yeah, just wanted to say that we will, again, most likely take you as close to the campsite as possible. And even if you need to do some hiking, we will most probably take your belongings, the heavy stuff, with a car. So you'll be traveling light.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, quick question for Gio. Will all 3 groups in Georgia be working on the same section in Sveneti?
Yes, we will. We are planning to work on this whole section all the week, all three groups, to continue this beautiful trail we have stops to worked.
Great. And last question we have so far in the Q&A from Riley. This one's for Mary. Riley's interested in volunteering with group number 5 and wants to know, if we choose to extend our stay and work with the technical trail crew, where will we be working? Do you have information on those project plans yet, or is that still in the works?
Yeah, so you'll be working in the Viator section, which is right above the Sunik region, but with completely different landscape. We tend to say that it is Arizona, but without the cacti. So it will be a very interesting experience, Riley. And thank you so much for joining.
Perfect. Yeah, and we also had a question that I guess we can answer briefly, although I have some questions for the person who asked it. But basically, do you see the political situation affecting the TCT program in any way? And my question is, which one? Because there are so many, always. But in terms of our programs for this year, the Caucasus obviously are a very complicated place. There's always a political situation. There is always something developing. Right now, there's a lot of developments in Georgia that are forcing us to, okay, it was in Georgia. Yeah. So basically, we've been forced to rework our organizational strategy, but every year to date, we have been able to continue implementing and to continue working with communities on the ground, to continue hosting international volunteers, and to continue running programs. There are new laws coming into place that might change some of the structure of how we do it, but we at this point are pretty confident that we'll still be able to run the volunteer programs as planned. And if that changes, we will be communicating with everyone very promptly. But there's always something, basically, and we can't always figure out how to make it work regardless. In terms of just the security situation on the grounds, just to make it clear, like the regions that we're working in are very safe, in terms of actual like, safety concerns on the grounds. That's really not been a consideration at all. The only times we've had to kind of change or flag programs is with related to military activity in border regions in Armenia, where in the past we once had to completely reroute a supporters trek and take them to a different region entirely. We had a wonderful group of very flexible participants and they had a great time. The rest was still safe. We don't, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything, but it seems very unlikely that that will be a risk for this year. And you can rest assured that if something happens, we have a team that is very well prepared to respond to these situations because they have had to navigate a lot of dancing and figuring out the different ways to approach it, always with the top priority of making sure everyone is safe and making conservative risk assessments and decisions. But again, as always, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out and we can chat a little bit more about specifics. Okay, one last question, I think, before we wrap up. Will we be sent this PowerPoint so we can make a decision on the region we volunteer in, or is this information already on the website? So both. We'll send out the link to this recording to everyone who registered in case, folks who missed it are interested in watching the replay, so you can continue to go back and look at that. And pretty much all of the information that we covered today is on the website. So first point of call, go check out the website, have a look at the different project pages. That will give you more information about the different locations, the work plans. You'll see more photos of some of the work sites, that type of thing. And then if you have any other questions, we're here to help. Really, a lot of the goal of this session was just to put some faces behind the program, really make it clear that we are real people. We're excited to meet you this summer, and we're here to answer your questions and hopefully welcome you to the trail. So yeah, with that, looks like folks are starting to hop off. I think unless there's any last questions, we can go ahead and wrap up. We really appreciate everyone joining. Thank you for your interest in the TCT. And whether you ends up coming out this summer or in a future year or just coming out to hike, we really hope to see you on the trail. So yes, Zaliandi Madloba. Appreciate you being here. And be in touch.
Madloba.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone,
day.
for your interest.
Waiting for you in Georgia.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.